There's a mist coming in, like something is brewing and about to begin. Can't put me finger on what lies in store, but I think what's that happened or happened before. A father, a mother, a daughter, a son. The threads of their lives are rough and undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as a string you might use when you're flying your kite. Chim chimney, chim chim, cherry chim cherry.
Hey Jane, let's run! Come back here, you little blighters! You've got to do your lessons. I can't do my lesson when I'm flying a kite.
And you can't make us. You're only our nanny.
Oi, not you two again. Come on, go now. Oi, come on.
Good morning, Bert.
Morning, Miss Locke. And how's little Willoughby today?
It's fine, thank you. Willoughby?
Why, Joe! Is that the beauteous Miss Lark I see on the horizon?
Admiral? Willoughby!
Morning, Admiral. How's it looking?
Dark clouds brewing over number 17. Storm warning is due.
All London's byways where I dust me cap. This one's the hardest to find on a map. Cherry Tree Lane, as sweet as a song, but the nannies who come here, they don't stay for long. Chim chimney, chim chim, cherry chim cherry.
Katie Nana, those little beasts have run away from me for the last time.
And who gets stuck with the children with no nanny in the house? Me, that too.
I've said my say, Mrs. Brill, and that's all I'll say. I've done with this house forever.
Well, good riddance then. And mind you, don't stumble on your way out.
Katie Nana, where are you going? Katie Nana, wait, no!
Katie Nana's gone, it isn't any wonder. Driven, half demented by your children's pranks.
Do you really think I made another blunder? What on earth am I to say to Mr. Banks? George, dear, I'm feeling so bereft, dear. Another nanny's left, dear. Every nanny goes, we're unlucky, I suppose. We are never going to find the perfect nanny.
Nonsense! Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, all your domain, whilst I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Coat, the simple truth is you've engaged 6 nannies in the last 4 months, and they've all been unqualified disasters. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a paragon who suffers no fool. Our nannies are stalwart, our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane.
Of course, George.
So take control of situations. Show your authority when interviewing staff. You know your roles, they know their stations. Efficiency and forethought cut the jobs in half. Briefcase.
I thought Katie Nana would be firm with the children. She always looks so cross.
Winifred, never confuse efficiency with a liver complaint. Umbrella.
Oh, if only we could find someone like your old nanny.
I'm afraid that's not realistic, my dear. Few women alive could manage Miss Andrews' standards of efficiency. Besides, we could never afford someone of her caliber.
Precision and order, he wants nothing less.
It's like an army barracks.
Yes, and we're in the mess. No wonder the nannies are driven insane. We're living in a madhouse in Cherry Tree Lane.
Now, Winifred, if you do want to please me...
No, I do, George.
Very well. Then place an advertisement in the Times stating that Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny at the lowest possible wage.
We better give them ours before they make another mistake.
I would stress that she be disciplined.
What's that you're holding, dear? We've written our own advertisement.
What on earth?
George, I think we should hear it.
Now, Winifred, none of your
It
theatrics.
won't hurt to listen.
Wanted a nanny for 2 adorable children.
Adorable? Well, that's debatable, I must say.
If you want this choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts.
That's the part I put in.
Play games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and fairly.
Well, of all the ridiculous
George,
nonsense...
please.
Take us on outings, give us treats.
Sing songs, bring the sweets. Never be cross or cruel. Never feed us castor oil or gruel.
Love us as a son and daughter.
And never sell a barley water. I put that bit in too.
If you won't scold and dominate us, we will never give you cause to hate us. We won't hide your spectacles so you can't see.
Put toads in your bed or pepper in your tea.
Hurry, nanny, many thanks, sincerely.
Jane and Michael, thanks.
That is quite enough Tommy Rot for one day. Now, will you please go upstairs and let me get to work?
George, they were only trying to help.
It won't help anyone to make me late. Where's my hat?
George, dear.
Hat!
Hat, I thought you put it down here.
Hat!
Hat, I'm sure a bullet hat can simply disappear.
Do you think they'll find it there?
Oh, there it is.
Does it run away?
He's brushed it with boot polish. Precision and order, that's all that I ask.
The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain.
Whilst I remain the sovereign, mind you use the day well.
You remain the sovereign.
I shall be home at 6 o'clock sharp.
He remains the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Good morning.
Yes?
I've come in answer to the advertisement.
What advertisement? We haven't placed any advertisement. Not yet.
George and Winifred Banks live here, do they not?
Mr. and Mrs. Banks live here, yes?
And you are looking for a nanny?
Well, I suppose...
Very well then. Now let me see. Play games or sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats. Michael, it's our advertisement. Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. There's no objection on that score, I hope?
Oh, of course not.
I'm glad to hear it.
But take it up with Mrs. Banks. She manages that side of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. And don't forget the references.
I make it a rule never to give references.
But I thought it was usual.
A very old-fashioned idea to my mind. The best people never acquire them now.
Oh, I see. You will have every third Thursday evening off from 5 until 9.
The best people give every second Wednesday from 6 till 8, ma'am. And that is where I shall take.
Oh, I see. Well, it's all settled then.
As long as I'm satisfied. I'll see the children now, thank you.
You'll find them very nice children. This is,
Mary Poppins. Jane, don't stare. And close your mouth, Michael. We are not codfish. Best foot forward. Spit spot.
Mrs. Brill, we have a new nanny. She passed her interview then. Or I did.
very tidy, I must say. Tidier than I was expecting. Who's responsible for that?
Miss Frill.
Me.
I am. I like to keep things neat.
Do you indeed? Well, I look forward to making use of that. If there's one thing I can appreciate, it's a child whose word I can depend upon. Who's she when she's at home?
That's Valentine. She's mine.
From the look on her face, I'm not sure she would agree with you.
Well, she's just a doll and I don't want to play with her now.
Treat her like that and she might not want to play with you. Now, first things first, I always say the proper place to hang a hat is on a hat stand.
But there's nothing behind it.
We better keep an eye on this one. She's tricky.
Mary Poppins, how could you know what we wanted in a nanny? When we made our list?
Your list? I'm not an item in the weekly shop, thank you very much.
How did you come then? It's as if the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now stand over there. Just as I thought. A noisy, mischievous, troublesome little boy.
You're making that up. Noisy, mischievous.
Now you. Thoughtless, short-tempered, and untidy.
I don't believe you.
By the time the wind has blown, the weather vane around, I'll show you if I can. No matter what circumstance, for one thing I'm renowned. My character is fit for spick and span.
What about your measurement, Mary Poppins?
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect?
So people say. Each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great and patently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Ah, lovely. Both prim and proper and never to stir. Well educated yet willing to learn. I'm clean and honest, my manner refined, and I wear shoes of the sensible kind. I suffer no nonsense, and whilst I remain, there's nothing else I feel I need explain. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, that's my forte. Uncanny nannies are hard to find. Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind. I'm practically perfect, not slightly soiled. Running like an engine that's just been freshly oiled. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Well, those are my credentials. Perhaps you have a few questions.
Not temperamental,
Never.
not grouchy or gruff.
Oh, the very thought.
Do you stay tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you read stories without a big fuss? Or have objections to playing with us?
Oh, I like games, but I choose them.
But that's not fair!
Some minor improvements may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We hope you'll stay.
Eyes on me. Each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great and bitterly sound. Bitterly sound. Spit that. Jane, doll's house, please. I'll take my telescope, thank you.
It's not fair.
I didn't say I was fair. I said I was.
chimchimani, chimchimani, chim-chim-charoo. Chimchimani, chimchimani, chim-chim-charoo. I does what I likes, and I likes what I do. Today I'm a screever, and as you can see, a screever's an artist of highest degree. And it's all me own work from me own memory.
Oh, let me not these again!
Come on, Mr. Parkkeeper. It's just me pictures like it always is.
I'll be the judge of that, all right. They ain't just pictures. They're ruining public property. And just you watch it, all right? Just you watch it.
Stay right where you are. Oh, I know that silhouette anywhere. Mary Poppins.
It's nice to see you, Bert.
Well, I must say you do look swell.
How does he know you? He can't know you. You've only just arrived.
I wasn't born 1 minute before I walked into your house, Michael Banks. Have you met these two, Bert?
I've seen them running about chasing a kite.
It isn't a real kite.
So, what are you up to?
Mary Poppins says it's a game. It's called A Walk in the Park. Some game. I'd rather eat spinach.
Come on, Bert. You're due for a break, and you promised you'd take me out when we met again. Or have you forgotten?
Of course I ain't, Mary. But...
Oh dear. Is that all you've got? Never mind. My treat. And no one's charging for the treats in the sky, are they?
Mary Poppins, is he really coming with us?
Why shouldn't he?
But to start with, he's very dirty, isn't he? Father would never approve.
What's that?
You can't come with us. You're too dirty. And we don't want to go to the stinky park anyway.
Oh, yes you do. Because when you walk with Mary Poppins, you go to places you never dreamed of. And if she says it's a game, she's got something in mind. You can be certain of that.
That's a picture of the park, isn't it? That's not the park. Not our park, anyway. Look, that tree's a much brighter shade of green, and the sky is quite a different blue.
I think you'll find it's just the way I've drawn it. All it takes is a spark. And something plain as a park becomes a wonderland. All you have to do is look anew, then you'll understand. Why, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
Really?
When the day is great and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright. Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling
I have
at
a
the
fixed
dark.
idea what you're talking.
When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
You have enough brass for all of us.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder it's Mary that we love. Come on, you two.
Boring, just like other nannies. Ding, ding, parks are good for us. It's just statues, ducks, and grannies. I don't understand all the fuss. Is she doing it to spite us? We could lose her for a laugh. Perhaps it's all a plot. I'll tell you what, she seems so different, but I bet she's not. There is nothing to excite us in the park. What was that?
You're quite wrong, you know.
What? Who are you?
I'm Nelius. Surely you know that? You sat beneath me often enough. I waited half a century to walk on a sunny day
What is a morning in May?
Feel like I could fly.
Have you ever seen the grass so green or how blue a sky?
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Paradise I've never known.
You can answer passing statuary.
Nothing's ever set in stone. Morning, Mary. You do look tip-top, if I might say so.
Thank you, birds, and you may.
Each man out with his dog will stand up, go to see a statue, take a gentle jog.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary.
No wonder it's Mary that we love.
It's a jolly holiday with you, bird. Gentlemen like you are few. Though you're just a diamond in the rough, underneath your blood is blue. Never think of pressing your advantage. Forbearance is the hallmark of your frame. A lady needed fear when you are near. Your sweet gentility is crystal clear.
It's crystal clear.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with you, bird. A jolly, jolly holiday with you.
Let's go for a jaunt to Santorini. Our plans to make a mark. Looks like all of us are going to take a ride in the
Poppins, of course.
How do you know Mary Poppins?
She's an old friend of my father.
A father? You're a statue. Statues can't have fathers.
Well, if that's true, why do I miss him so much?
Isn't he one of the other statues?
No, he lives far away from here.
Do you really miss him?
Wouldn't you miss your father if you hardly ever saw him?
I'd have to think about that.
That's it! That's it! That's what that was! First saw the ducks go missing from the pond, and now we've got a statue missing! Oh, lummy Northeast! Again, you've got to be kidding me! I mean, for real! 1 week with no disasters going wrong!
Breathe! Take a breath, mate!
problem?
What seems to be the problem? The statue's missing! The plinth's half empty!
Do you mean you've lost your marble?
Oh, you think this is funny, eh? Why, I bet you have something to do with this. Ever since you first arrived, I knew we'd have trouble, and now I've got a statue missing! What? No, Lummy!
Julius, will you play with us again?
Of course I will. I'm not going anywhere.
Then we'll see you soon. Goodbye, Julius.
Goodbye.
Mary Poppins, couldn't Julius's father ever come and stay?
Anything can happen if you let it.
How long will you stay?
I'll stay. We'll see.
You are going to stay with us this time, aren't you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay until the wind changes. Now, run along in. It's getting cold.
Good night, Jane. Good night, Michael. Good night, Mary.
Good night, Bert.
George, Jane and Michael want to say goodnight.
Tell them you've given me the message.
George, please.
Oh, Daddy, we've had a fantastic day. We sang with a busker, danced with a statue, met Queen Victoria. You wouldn't have approved, but...
If you knew that, then why did you do it?
Daddy, could I have a kite? A proper one?
Could you fly it?
You could always teach me.
Now, when would I have time to do that?
Daddy, who's the father of Julius?
Will you please let me get on? Good night.
Come along, children.
Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites. And his beloved astronomy, of course.
You know, I used to love astronomy at his age. My nanny soon beat it out of me.
I suppose we do need a nanny, George. Is it out of the question to do without one?
Don't be absurd. Of course we need a nanny. All the best people have nannies. So the wives can do charity work and entertain. Oh, which reminds me, how's your tea party coming on?
I'm not sure. It seems so odd to send out invitations to people I hardly know.
But they're people you should know. Remember, by your friends shall ye be judged.
But that's the point. They're not my friends. Actually, I was talking with Clemmie Bunting today. She's rehearsing a new show, and I thought I might ask
How
her
many
about-
times must I tell you, I wish you to sever all connection with that part of your life?
George, I was an actress. Lots of people might find that interesting. Though you always talk as if I should be ashamed of it.
Well, it's not exactly something to be proud of. Winifred, dearest, I'm only looking after you. I want people to admire you, to respect you.
I know, George, but it's hard.
It's not hard. It is your job to be Mrs. Banks.
And what is your job?
to pay for everything. What are you doing?
I was only going to kiss you.
All right. Oh, are you going to say something to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
No, I don't think so.
Very well. Just make sure she's doing things our way and not hers. What good are rules if you can bend them? We need a nanny who is disciplined and stern. With boys and girls, you don't befriend them. I fear that Mary Poppins has a lot to learn.
Being Mrs. Banks should be an easy role, and yet it's one which I don't seem too good at on the whole. I have a comfy home, I have a simple life, I have a name which tells the world I'm someone else's wife. Being Mrs. Banks, what does that entail? Facing tests of character, I always seem to fail. And as for his best people, well, I'd like to say, no thanks. They're not exactly my idea of being Mrs. Banks.
I still feel as if I'm dreaming so much fun in just one day. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. I'm sure Nelius is screaming, let's hope she will stay. Good night, Nelius.
Let's hope she will
Precision
Winds do change, times can turn, sink or swim, see what you learn. Me, I was told when I was small, just learn a trade, so I learned them all. Chim chimani chim chim cherry.
Good morning, man. Swapping the deck today, I see.
Gotta keep the street ship shape, Admiral.
Tell me, how are things in number 17? All plain sailing with Mary Poppins, I trust?
There's some rough weather on every voyage, Admiral.
Miss Lark, what those two children need is a touch of the cat and a night on the yardarm.
What those children need, Admiral, is a touch of happiness.
Maybe just a touch of the cat, then.
Oh, Mrs. Brill, don't make the sandwiches too early. They'll get stale before the guests arrive.
Everything's under control, ma'am.
What about the cake?
Cooling on the tray, waiting to be iced.
And you're quite sure you know how to ice it?
Quite sure. And in case you're worried, I have not been exchanged by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
No.
No!
Well, I guess I'll go up and I'll check the drawing room.
I'd like to be helpful.
And I'd like to be rich, but the good Lord thought otherwise. Well, she can't have me. I've got enough on my plate as it is.
She says you can tell Roberts and I what to do.
Does she indeed? Well, why don't I go and have a smoke by the gasworks for good measure?
Please, Mrs. Brill, I don't mind. Honest.
All right. I will give you one task and one task only. And so, help me if you get this wrong. I will swing for you and sing as they pull the lever.
What is it, Mrs. Brill?
Put the icing tools next to the cakes. I'll need a bowl of hot water to warm them. I'll make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Icing tools? Cake? Hot water? I will make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Now you think you can manage that?
Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. Once the cake's done, I've got the sandwiches next because Madame wants them fresh. So I can't start them until there's no time to finish them. I swear, a slave in ancient Rome was on pleasure cruise compared to my life in this house.
Well, don't just stand there, Roberts and I.
Right. No.
What are you looking for?
A bowl for the water.
Michael, why don't we make the icing?
Because we don't know how.
Don't be so feeble and get me the eggs. If Miss Brill can do it, it can't be that hard.
Are there eggs in icing?
There are in mine.
I don't think Mrs. Brill will thank you.
Well, then she will be guilty of great ingratitude.
Is it supposed to look like that?
It doesn't look like that when Mrs. Brill does it.
Don't be impertinent and give me the cake.
Honestly, Miss Jane, I was only trying to help. If you were...
What have you done? Roberts and I. Oh, shall I call a doctor?
I don't think that would be necessary, ma'am.
Oh, how could you be so unkind when you know how important my party is? You deserve some very nasty medicine just waiting till bedtime.
Oh, I don't think we should wait until then, ma'am. Why not go up and get changed? We'll clear up, won't we?
But we're not ill. I won't take it and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty. Open.
But it's strawberry ice.
Now you. I'm not sure I like strawberry ice. I'm not sure I care. Open.
Lime cordial.
Now, off we go, you two. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane. Can Roberts and I do when he wakes up? He is the servant. With that attitude, you'll go through a lot of stuff before you're very old. Besides, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game, and every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. A lark, a spring, it's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. My point exactly. The honey bees that fetch the nectar from the flowers to the combs never tire of their bossing to and fro, because they take a little nip from every flower that they sip, and they fly, find their task is not right. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. Spit sport!
Mary Poppins, you're a miracle worker. How did you get them to do it?
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine.
Go down, medicine, go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
So,
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine go down.
Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful, in a most delightful, in a most delightful way.
sorry, ma'am. Apparently these came this morning and Roberts and I forgot to give them to you. They're apologies, ma'am. From your guests, they're not coming. None of them. Do you think we chose the wrong date? No, I think you chose the wrong people. In the most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, where are we going today? I thought we could play our next game.
Ooh, what game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree?
And if he did, you must have put the idea into his head somehow. What an impertinent thing to say. Me putting ideas into other people's heads. Really?
Precision and order, causing a wheel, opening a ledger, closing a deal, prudent investment, financial sense, with sunshine, pound shillings and pence.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning. Great men have dreams of power and position, and it's our job to back them to the hilt. For prudent investment and advice, they'll pay our price.
The bedrock on which banks are built.
Banks. A word. I see Herr von Hustler is coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Good, good. Be sure it's the right one.
In every transaction, credit or debt, sheets are all well balanced, targets are met.
Herr Banks, what objections can you have? My security is more than adequate, and Latin America is an expanding market. What is the matter? Have you no courage?
But Mr. von Hustler, what I haven't been able to grasp is, what exactly is your final product?
What do you think? Money, of course.
Yes, but I wonder, making money out of money, is that enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker? A man has dreams of building an empire to spread his name across many distant lands. And in the new world, I am told, we'll soon strike gold. Let's seize that chance with both our hands.
Assessing the market,
limit the risk. Little room for error. Business is brisk.
Have you come to a decision, Mr. Banks? There's a town of good people depending on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance. The factory could be up and running before the end of the week and expanding before the year's out. Please, Mr. Banks, I'd give it everything I've got. Believe me.
I do believe you, and I've tried to find a way, but there's just not the collateral.
What about my workforce? Decent men who want to earn a better living. They're my collateral. My men have dreams to earn an honest living. A wife and kids, a home to call their own. If you'd invest in us today, it paved the way. I promise I'd repay the loan.
I'm sorry, Mr. North.
Hello, Daddy.
What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
No. No man should be too busy for his own children. And what are you here for? Have you come for some money as well?
Hardly. What would they need money for?
It's never too early to learn the value of money. Here.
I know the value of this. 6pence.
That's its worth. Its value is in how you spend it. Do good, and may you have good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
What is the meaning of this, really, Mary Poppins? I am not without a sense of humor.
Aren't you, Daddy?
No, I am not. But when I was a little boy, I would never have dared interrupt my father.
Were you ever a little boy?
Of course I was. But my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me out of my father's way, and he'd have been very annoyed if she hadn't.
What about your mother?
I shouldn't think I saw either of them more than once a week.
Didn't they mind?
Mind? They were glad to be rid of me.
Then who kissed you goodnight? Miss Andrew?
Ugh. Certainly not. There was no time for hugs and kisses and all that soppy nonsense. What's the matter?
Poor Daddy.
Poor? What do you mean, poor? That's what made me the man I am today. Hey, Mary Poppins.
Yes, I'm afraid it did.
That's quite enough. You've seen where I work, and I have a great deal to do.
Daddy, when you invest the bank's money, what are you looking for? A good man or a good idea?
Well, I suppose I should say it's a good idea. But a good man is much rarer and much more valuable.
Come along, children.
Mr. Von Hustler, I've considered your arguments, but I'm afraid my answer is no.
So you don't recognize a good idea?
Perhaps not, but I recognize a good man when I see one.
You will regret this, Count Banks.
A man with dreams that life hasn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. Now, Mr. Northbrook, when exactly could the factory open?
Thank you, Mr. Banks. You won't regret this, I promise.
For your information, she's not in the least horrible.
But she's just a bundle of rags.
When will you learn she'll have passed what you see? Early each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way to the people she calls. Come buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care. And do be glad
What are you doing? I'm going to give her my sixpence.
What a waste. That's a matter of opinion. Here, one bag, please. Save your sixpence. All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can't see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that he cares. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to you. Eat the birds, tuppence a bird, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bird.
All gone.
Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bird.
Who's a good boy? Willoughby's a good boy, that's what. You don't say. Well, here she is now, you can tell her yourself.
Is that Miss Lark's dog, Willoughby? Don't interrupt when someone's talking. You were saying? Really? Well, if she keeps wandering off, perhaps it would be better if you kept her on a lead.
Willoughby?
Oh, look, here she comes now.
Willoughby? Oh, thank goodness it's all right. Mummy's here. No, it's almost as though you could talk. That's nonsense.
Bert, can Willoughby really talk?
Of course he can. Getting him to stop is the problem.
How do you learn to talk dog?
How do you think? Master the grammar
Practice when you can.
and avoid mongrels.
Far too much slang.
Now, come along. I can't stand here all day talking shop.
Talking shop? What a silly expression.
It's not silly in the least.
What do you find in talking shop?
Conversations, of course.
Well, I've never seen a talking shop.
Well, there is only one, and it belongs to Mrs. Corey.
Who's Mrs. Corey?
Who's Mrs. Corey? Mrs. Corey is older than anyone in the world. She talked to William before he went conquering, to Vlad before he went impaling, and to Alexander when he went so great.
We'll have to call her shop in the park.
There's no shop in the park.
Remember, anything can happen if you let it. That's it. I've run out of conversations. Good day to you, Mrs. Corey. Well, 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 if it isn't Mary Poppins with Jane and Michael Banks.
She knows us?
And how is poor little Georgie?
Who?
Georgie Banks, your father. He used to give his nanny the slip and come into my shop here in secret.
But it can't have been the same George Banks. It would have been 40 years ago. No one can remember back that far.
Listen, dearie, I remember everything. I remember Georgie used to love my gingerbread. I wonder if we've got any left. Annie, Betty, look lively.
Yes, Mother.
There you are, gingerbread pieces with gingerbread stars. Georgie always saved his stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you?
Well, I did want an ounce of conversations.
I'm out of conversations, and I'm right out of words, too. You see, I've had a lot of chatterboxes in here today, but let me see what we have left. Ooh, I do have some letters and a little bit of back chat. An ounce, you say? That'll be 15 letters. Go on, take your pick.
Jane, you can choose 7.
I've got a D, R, G, U, C, L, and I. They're no good. You can't make a conversation out of them.
Your turn, Michael. 7 more.
A, S, F, E, T, O, and P. And I'll choose
The X. Now, what words can we make?
Well, I see dog and cats.
Roundaplex, that's 9.
Lavatoferus, that's 11, nearly there.
Those don't count. You made them up. And where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody had to make them up.
You know, we can always use the same letter more than once. Now let me see. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, that's not a word.
Of course it's a word. And unless I'm very much mistaken, I think it's going to prove a rather useful one. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to leaf through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation keen. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, it can mean exactly what you want it to. Diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I. In Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though if they've heard this word, they might have used it once or twice.
I'm sure Egyptian pharaohs would have grasped it in a jiff. Then every single pyramid would bear this hieroglyph. Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say it out, what animals will not seem so ferocious. Add some further flourishes, it's surreptitious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I.
The Druids could have carved it on their body monoliths.
The ancient Greeks, I'm certain, would have used it in their myths. I'm sure the Roman Empire entered the abyss, because those Latin scholars never had a word like this. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you sing it softly, the effect can be hypnosis.
Check your breath before you speak in case it's atrocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle.
You know, you can't say it backwards, which is so collide,
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 16 consonants and 18 vowels as well, and put them in an order which is very hard to spell.
S-U-P-E-R C-A-L-I-L R-A-G-I-L I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D O-C-I-O-U-S
Smarty pants. You all know the words, right? Pretty popular now. Want to sing it? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Again. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F-R-A-G-I-L-I-T-O-C-I-O. So not that part then, alright? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilistic. Well done, give yourselves a hand. The winds will blow, but who's to know exactly what it's bringing? Good news or bad, happy or sad, the pendulum keeps swinging.
Never to come near that vase, yet to no one else but me neither. That is an heirloom.
Heirloom.
And while I do this, stay totally immobile.
Mobile.
Do not move a muscle.
Muscle.
Do not breathe. Do you hear me?
Might as well be dead.
Don't give me ideas.
The game is played, the change is made, but still the road is long. And though they might, yet fly your cock, Sometimes the wind is too strong.
George? What happened? Are you ill?
No. Should I be?
Of course not. Only, why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No, everything is all wrong.
My dear, what is it?
If you must know, I refused some German chap a loan. It seems he went to our chief rivals. They gave him the money and now it's turned into a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time.
Can't they? That's exactly what they expect.
Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough,
That is more than loud enough. Go to your room.
But we were just...
I don't care what you were just. Upstairs now. Where's my briefcase? I put it... Michael? Jane? Will you give me that? Must I put up with this behavior? You are their mother. Why can't you do something?
Well, I can try not shout for a start.
Mary Poppins, you are here to teach these children manners, and just look at them. They're a pair of little savages. Why, if I had my way, you'd be out of this house.
George! You're tired. Mary Poppins, please take the children upstairs. I'm afraid Mr. Banks is quite exhausted. Perhaps you can keep them occupied?
I hope you haven't forgotten, ma'am. Tonight is my evening out.
What? Oh dear, I had forgotten. I suppose the best people wouldn't ask you to change their plans, would they?
No, ma'am, they wouldn't.
I thought not.
That's not fair. Daddy loses his temper and we're shut up in the nursery. Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him.
Jane, take that back this instant. I will not have you criticize your father like that.
Why not? He criticizes you. Last week he said you were neither use nor ornament.
How dare you?
I heard him say it and so did you.
Sometimes people say things that they don't mean. Mary Poppins, don't bring the children down tonight. George,
What is it?
I thought you might want to talk about it.
What would be the point?
Perhaps I can help.
Don't be ridiculous.
George, I'm serious. If you have troubles, I want to share them with you.
Don't worry, you will. The fact is, I've been suspended without salary until they decide what to do with me.
Twist and turns, ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. But bad-tempered faces had better change quick, 'cause if the wind changes, the face might just stick. Chim chimani, chim chim, chirry chim, chabru.
It's not fair. You're going out and we get left on our own.
You've plenty of toys to play with.
I don't want to. They're boring.
They might say the same about you.
Why does Daddy get so cross? Fathers are supposed to look after their children, not yell at them all the time.
Maybe, but have you ever asked yourself, Who takes care of the fathers when things go wrong?
The mothers, I suppose.
Not the children? Wouldn't that be rather upside down? Sometimes families are upside down. For a while, anyways.
Well, I don't want to be in an upside-down family. I wish I could run away. Why don't you? Someone might adopt you.
But you'd miss me.
No, I wouldn't. I could have your toys.
No, you could not.
Yes, I could, and I jolly well would. Give that to me. Now look what you've done.
That's no way to treat Valentine. What's she ever done to you?
She's a doll, silly. She couldn't do anything.
Now that's all you two. Into bed at once.
But we haven't had our milk.
There'll be no buts. And no milk either. If you can't be good, you may as well be sorry. Poor Valentine. Go inside and make yourself presentable.
Well, I won't go to sleep and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things,
More information
is faulty. I wish you'd just leave us alone. Be careful of the things you wish for. Playing the game, taking your turn. Some children lose, some children learn. Treat the toys nicely and maybe they'll treat you the same. Playing the game. Are you feeling any better, Valentine? Much better, thank you. Tempers are frayed, tempers are lost. Nobody stops to think of the cost. But they tore my arm again. Oh dear, children who lose their tempers will lose everything else in the end. They're not playing the game, not playing fair, not with the dolls, not with the bear. The rolled on the floor and neglected, and they were to blame. Playing the game. Please tell them, Mary Poppins. Why don't you tell them?
What's going on? What's happened to the toys? Make them go small and get back in their box.
Why, you've heard them and called them names. Now it's their turn. Summon the toys. Now is the time to tell of your woes, to tell of their cries. Cry! Come on, come on. Enter the fray. They need to hear what you have to say.
Make them stop!
Those girls and boys
Treat us this way.
treat us this way.
Don't deserve fun.
Don't deserve fun.
So why should we stay? They stamp and shout.
They stamp and shout.
Create such a fuss. They need to know about you. Well,
You think you know everything.
I couldn't agree more, Jane.
Well, they're our toys and we'll do what we like with them. So there.
So there, indeed. Playing the game, having a ball. Those who won't play shan't play at all. Will we meet again? Maybe when they're
the smoke is all bewildered and furled. Between pavement and stone is a chimney sweep's world. Where there's hardly no day, nor hardly no light. There's things off in shadow and halfways in light. On the rooftops of London. Cool. What a sight.
Oh, so you're a sweep now, are you?
Best view in the world, eh? And who gets to see it? The birds, the stars, and the chimney sweeps. Nothing to beat it. Now you may think I sweeps on the bottommost rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke. In this all wide world, there's no happier bloke. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo.
Good luck will rub off when he shakes hands with you.
Or blow me a kiss, and that's lucky too. So, you're going then?
The wind has changed.
But could kids marry?
Would I be bothering with them if they weren't? But I can't help them if they won't let me. And no one is so hard to teach as a child who knows everything.
So?
So, they've got to the next bit on their own.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry.
When you're with the sweep, you're in glad company. Goodbye, Bert.
Chim, chim, chim chim cherry. When you're with us, sweet, you're in glad company. Nowhere is there a more happy crew than them what sings chim chim, cherry chim charoo. Chim chimney, chim chim, cherry chim.
Cheerio, Bert. Keep an eye on them for me.
Oh, yes, she can. And she's taken all of our toys. What does the note say?
What in the name of heaven are you two doing out here? Where is Mary Poppins?
Gone.
Gone? Well, if that doesn't take the blooming biscuit.
Miss Frill, what does au revoir mean?
Why?
Because that's what she's written in her note. Dear Jane and Michael, keep playing the games. Au revoir, Mary Poppins.
It's French. I know that. Does it mean God bless you or good luck? No, I remember now. Till we meet again. Now come inside before you catch a